From NBC 40 News, this is Forum 40.
Welcome to Forum 40, everyone. I'm Jennifer Husko.
I'm Nick Pittman.
And we're right in the midst of the holiday season. And while thinking about that big turkey dinner with all the trimmings, it's important to remember that there are many people struggling to put food on the table.
In fact, nationally, 50.1 million Americans live in households that struggle against hunger. To put that in perspective, 1 out of every 5 kids in New Jersey goes to bed hungry every day.
That's where the Community Food Bank of New Jersey comes in. On this edition of Forum 40, we're going inside the food bank's southern branch in Egg Harbor Township for a behind-the-scenes look to find out more about the need right in our community.
It was back in 1975 when Kathleen DiChiera, who is now president and CEO of the Community Food Bank in New Jersey, started handing out groceries from the trunk of her car. Then, after operating out of 2 locations in Newark, the Community Food Bank's charities grew in 1987 and then moved to their current location in Hillside, Union County.
And recognizing that hunger could be found throughout the state, the Community Food Bank opened its southern branch in Landisville in 1987. It soon moved back to the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, where it still is today, serving more than 260 partner agencies from a 29,000 square foot facility.
Today, through their combined efforts, the Community Food Bank feeds 900,000 people in 18 counties in the Garden State.
NBC 40 had the chance to stop by the Community Food Bank of New Jersey's southern branch for a tour and to speak with Executive Director Evelyn Benton. Let's take a look.
Well, Evelyn, thanks for sitting down and sharing with us a little bit of behind the scenes here at the food bank. We understand the food bank has gone through a lot of changes over the years with the expansion. Talk about that and what it has allowed you guys to do for the community.
This is actually our 3rd building. We started in the mid-80s. We were out in Landisville in a little 12,000 square foot warehouse, and we were serving, by the time we left there, about 1.1 million pounds of food to about 60 charities. And then we relocated to this grounds where we are now, and it just ballooned because the location was so much better for us. And we got up to serving over 200 charities and 4.5 million pounds of food in about 15 years. And then I left the organization for 5 years. And in that 5 years while I was gone, the building was raised and this new facility was put up, and it's just magnificent, all state of the art. We have solar panels on the ceiling, all the lights go on and off when people come in and out. So it's very energy efficient. And in those 5 years, again, distribution almost doubled. We went from 4.5 million pounds of food a year, the year I left, to 7.7 last year when I came back. And we're now serving over 250 charities, and it just seems to, no matter how much we do, it just never seems to be enough, and it just continues to grow. And now, you know, with all that's happening in Atlantic City and the whole economy of Atlantic County going to be suffering as a result of that, I really don't know where the expansion will continue to take us.
Right, and with the donations that people bring in here, I know there's a lot of sorting. We're in the midst of the holiday season here. Talk a little bit about the need around the holidays. I mean, there is really no season for hunger, but the holidays are a big in demand time.
And there's not a season for hunger, but there is a season for giving. And when people start to sit down and think about how blessed they are to have a job, to have a roof over their head, to have a vehicle, to have their health, to have their family, then they start to think about, oh, and there's other people who don't have one or more of those things. And it makes a very busy time for us, really. October, November, December are our busiest 3 months of the year, and we're very grateful for it because it really brings in enough support to get us through the winter, typically. Right now, though, as much food is coming in, it's going out just as quickly. I know you have some shots in the warehouse, and it's a little scary. So there's really not a backup plan for January and February, other than we have a nice grant from Atlantic Care that will help us purchase food moving forward in the new year. So that's going to be very helpful. But we really do probably about 25% or more of our collections really in the month of November. Because Thanksgiving really is all about the meal. Once you hit Christmas, you know, it's a meal, but it's mostly about gifts and kids. But Thanksgiving is all about the meal, so it's a really busy time for us, and a lot of volunteer activity and a lot of donations, and it puts a lot of stress on our staff, but there's also a tremendous amount of people who come out and volunteer to help. So that takes a little bit of the pressure off.
And with the different things that go out specifically for the holiday season, I know there's a lot of turkeys coming in here. What do families in need get from the food bank?
They get basically a 3 to 5 day supply of food. It's really a temporary emergency food assistance. And then in addition to that, they'll get a Thanksgiving turkey and the fixins to go along with it. They'll get a box that contains mashed potatoes and stuffing mix and cranberries and gravy and all that kind of thing. So they're actually being served twice during the month of November, which is a big help. You know, there's a lot of expenses that start to come around the holidays. You know, heating bills start to go up, and you know, so we like to be able to help a little extra if we can.
And I know there's a lot of community groups that come out, and are there also some businesses that make some hefty donations that I'm sure really can help out?
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, and especially since the casino crisis started to happen, we've had Atlantic City Electric stepped up to the plate and made a very substantial contribution to help us purchase food for recently laid off workers. We had Atlanticare, as I mentioned, their foundation to help us get through next year. We have Chapman Ford across the street, one of our neighbors, who's doing a wonderful food drive and donating $100 for every car they sell. Obviously, you guys are doing big event for Operation Help for a 5-day food drive, which is awesome. And it's a really nice way to pull the whole community in. You know, years ago when we started doing a strategic plan and started to rebrand ourselves, because our logo is new just the past few years, we really focused on the word community, because we really, from the beginning of our existence almost 40 years ago, the community has played a significant role in what we do. It's all about food funds and volunteers. And all of those involve bringing in members of different segments of the community. And that was a real important piece to us, to put community in our name.
And community is the big thing. I mean, it's our neighbors. It could be our coworkers. We don't really know
Family
who is
members,
in need.
family members even. You know, it's surprising sometimes. You know, it really does surprise people sometimes. We had a gentleman who used to be a volunteer here, now comes for service. He's a senior citizen living on a fixed income, and he has grandchildren living with him. And he was interviewed by you guys a few months ago, and one of his family members saw it in New York. They happened to see it, I guess, maybe online, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we need to call him and see if he's okay." You know, but people struggle, and you don't even know. It's you know, pride is a terrible thing, but you can't eat it. So it's something that really has to be put aside when it comes to putting food on the table.
And it must bring you a lot of joy in this job, you know, to be able to help the members in our community and see the people coming together and helping each other out.
I have the best. I've said all along, the first 15, 16 years I was here, and now coming back, it was really one of the deciding factors in coming back. I've lived in the Atlantic County community since I was 21 years old. I won't say how long that's been, but it's been a while. And I love this community. I love this area, and the people in it. You know, I was a member of a church here. I was in several civic groups, and you know, I just really, I'm very committed to this community. And I had 3 homes here, and it just gives you a really warm feeling just to know that you're making a difference. Even though, I want to say the first 7 years I was here, I felt as though no matter how much I did, it wasn't going to be enough. But at one point I realized, if you're doing your best, that's all anyone can expect from you. And I give this job my all because I realize how important it is. And it does give me a good feeling to know that, you know, we're going to have 7,000 families this year enjoying Thanksgiving dinner who might not otherwise be able to. That's a really good feeling.
It sure is. Thank you so much, Evelyn, for sharing so much with us.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you being here.
It was great hearing all about the food bank and how it works, and to find out how many people exactly help.
Sure was, Nick. And you know, we also found out that they wouldn't be able to help so many people without their dedicated volunteers. And we'll look into that after a short break. Stay with us.